So what kind of sounds do wind turbines make? You and I have an insatiable appetite for electricity. Come with me and we'll look at the issues relative to wind farms and the communities that they serve. This is the Windfarm Guy. Hi, this is Dennis Stout, and thank you for joining me for this episode of the Windfarm Guy. Today we're considering just what kind of sounds do wind turbines make as they're generating electricity. Well, they are pieces of equipment. They're machines, and any machine will make sound, even farm equipment, even farm machines. According to GE Global Research, at a quarter mile, the sound that you would hear from a wind turbine is similar to that of a refrigerator, which is basically 40 decibels. That's less than what the EPA recommends, and also less than the World Health Organization recommends. Now, if you were standing right next to a turbine, the sounds that you might hear would be the wind as it crosses over the blade as the blade turns in the air. You might hear the whooshing as the blade crosses the tower as it passes it. You might hear this little whooshing sound. You might also hear just a very subtle whirring coming from the nacelle as the electric motors up there turn the nacelle or feather the blades. You might also hear the low sound as the generator is generating the electricity. And then finally you might hear the very slight hum of the transformer at the base of the turbine. That transformer is very similar to the transformer that is near your house. An interesting thing happens at a wind turbine that I want to point out. Wind turbines they operate when the wind blows, and when the wind blows they generate other sounds as well. You might hear, as the wind blows, you'll hear the wind as it goes through the leaves in the trees, or as it goes through your hair or across your ears. This ambient sound kind of masks some of the sounds that a wind turbine makes. So when the wind doesn't blow, the wind turbine doesn't operate, so it's not making any sound. When the wind does blow, the wind turbine does operate, but the wind is also generating these other ambient sounds that tend to mask some of the sounds that the wind turbine is making. Now, if you were to search online, you're going to find all sorts of information about wind turbine sounds and so on, and some of them are kind of ridiculous, as a band of folks are sneaking up on a wind turbine whispering and talking about how horrible it is. But I recommend that what you should do, if you are near a wind farm at all, take the time, drive over and go to a turbine. Now, don't trespass or anything, but go up to a turbine, turn the car off, get out, shut the door, and listen. You listen, hear what you can hear, and you be the judge. Because you can find anything online, but there's nothing that is better than you making your own decision. I did that not too terribly long ago, and we stopped and got out. We were probably 200 yards from a turbine. And I asked the person, I said, do you hear the turbine? And she said, no, I don't hear anything. Well, I could hear it. And I said, are you sure you can't hear it? And they said, no, all I hear is that slight sound of that jet way in the distance. And I went, no, that's not a jet, that's the turbine. And she went, are you kidding me? That's what all the hoopla's about? And she was totally disgusted, because it was just such a subtle sound. I once visited with a landowner. He lived next to a project that was already built and operational, and he was close to a turbine, and I was talking to him about another project right next to that one that was there, and I was sitting down at his table, and he actually lived on a highway. His driveway was, I don't know, 100 feet long or so, and it was a busy highway. There were lots of traffic, lots of trucks going down there, and so we were sitting there talking about it, and he was telling me that occasionally he could hear the turbine, and it wasn't too terribly far away, but occasionally he could hear it. And as he was telling me that, I began to notice, as the trucks were going by, I heard truck after truck after truck as they were going by. And finally I said, you live on a highway, and what about these trucks that are going by? Because I was hearing the trucks out the front door, but I wasn't hearing anything coming from the direction of the turbine. And his response was interesting. He said, "I never hear the highway." Well, I was flabbergasted because I could definitely hear the highway. And I thought, this guy, I don't know what he's thinking. But the more I thought about that afterwards, I realized, he's right. The human mind is an amazing thing. And he had tuned out, just like you can and I can, we tune out the things that we don't really want to hear. It's human nature. We have that great ability to do that. And he had tuned out the trucks and the rest of the highway noise. But because he was focusing on the wind farm and this turbine, he was hearing that. And that is human nature. But you can say that about just about anything in life. I mean, the things you focus on, that's what you're going to hear and see. The things you don't focus on, they kind of blend into nothingness. And so let me just say, if you focus on it, you'll hear it. If you don't, then you may not be able to hear it, and your mind will just tune it out for you. Last thing I want to point out is infrasonic sound. Infrasonic sound is a very low sound, and it is something that people that are against wind farms use to scare people. There are no reputable studies that I am aware of that support the negative effects of infrasonic sound in and around a wind farm. Infrasonic sound is around us. It is all around us. It's everywhere. Even at your home, at your place of work, it's everywhere. But this is in my opinion, it's a brilliant scare tactic that people that are opposed to wind farms use. And think about this. What they say is there's this thing that wind turbines make, there's this thing that they do. You can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it, or you can't even tell that it's there, but it's going to ruin your life. Trust me. I'm sorry, I don't buy that's baloney. It is a real thing. There is a thing called infrasonic sound, but I think there's more negative effects to fretting about infrasonic sound than there is about infrasonic sound. Now, I'm not a doctor or psychologist or anything like that. I just think that it's blown very out of proportion. I think the best thing I could tell you to do is go to a turbine, listen, and form your own opinion. This is Dennis Stout, and I'm the Windfarm Guy. Thank you for watching. Working together, we can make good energy decisions and save our planet. I am the Windfarm Guy.